Hi students, welcome back to computer class. So in our last class we studied about intent. What do you mean by intent? It is a space between the text and the left and right margin of a page. See, this is a text. These are the text. Okay, and there is a space between the text and the left margin of a page. And there is a space between the text and the right margin of the page. Okay, that is what you mean by a indent. There are four types of indent. They are left indent, right indent, first line indent and hanging indent. So today let us see in detail what you mean by these four types of indent. First one is left indent. Left indent means they set the starting point of all the lines in a paragraph from the margin. That is, see, this is a paragraph, okay? And there are four lines inside this paragraph. All these lines, they start from a particular point, okay? All these lines, they start from a particular point, okay? They start from a particular point. And that starting point is set by the left indent, okay? And what do you mean by right indent? See, this is a paragraph. There are four lines inside this paragraph. And all these four lines, they end at a particular point. This line ends at this point. And this end at this point, okay? So all these lines in this paragraph, they end at a particular point. And that ending point is set by the right indent, okay? That is what you mean by right indent. Once again, left indent means this is a paragraph and all the lines in this paragraph, they start from a particular point. And that starting point is set by the left indent. And all the lines, they end at a particular point. And that ending point is set by the right indent. Okay. Next one is first line indent. See, this is a paragraph and this is the first line inside this paragraph, okay? And this first line, they start from a point. And that starting point is set by the first line indent, okay? First line indent, they set the starting point of the first line inside a paragraph. Left indent means they set the starting point of all the lines in a paragraph. First line indent, they set the starting point of the first line in a paragraph. Okay, that is what you mean by first line indent. Last one is hanging indent. Hanging indent means, see, this is a paragraph and inside this, see, except the first line, okay? Except the first line, the other lines, they start from a point, okay? And that starting point is set by the hanging indent. Hanging indent means they set the starting point of all the lines in a paragraph except the first line, okay? Hanging indent means they set the starting point of all the lines in a paragraph except the first line, okay? So left indent, they set the starting point of all the lines in a paragraph. Right indent means they set the end point of all the lines in a paragraph. And first line indent means they set the starting point of the first line in a paragraph. And hanging indent means they set the starting point of all the lines in a paragraph except the first line, okay? So these are the four types of indent. Next, let us see how we can set indents in Microsoft Word. For that, you have to follow some steps. So the first step is you have to select the paragraph in which the indent is to be changed. Okay. First step is you have to select the paragraph in which the indent is to be changed. Next step is you have to first click on the page layout tab, okay? Once you click on the page layout tab, there are many sections, like there is a section for themes, page setup, page background, paragraph, arrange, okay? So these are the sections that you can see once you click on the page layout tab. See, it is been highlighted with a red mark. What are the sections? that will open once you click on the page layout tab. Okay. So once you click on the page layout tab, there are many sections like page setup, page background, paragraph. Okay. So in the paragraph section at the bottom corner there is a arrow being given, and that arrow is known as the dialog box launcher button. Okay. In the paragraph section there is an arrow being given at the bottom corner, and that arrow is known as the dialog box launcher button, and you have to click on that dialog box launcher button. Okay. So the next step is in the page setup tab. Once you click on the page setup tab, in the paragraph section there is a dialog box launcher button. You have to click on that dialog box launcher button. So once you click on the dialog box launcher button, a paragraph dialog box opens, and what do you see in this picture? This is a paragraph dialog box. In paragraph dialog box there are two options provided. First one is indents and spacing, and second one is line and page breakup. So for setting the indents or for changing the indents, you have to click on the indents and spacing. Whatever I say, they are being marked with a red box. Okay. So for changing the indents, you have to first click on the indents and spacing tab. And there are many options provided, like there is a general section, there is an indentation section, there is a spacing section. Okay. For changing the indents, you have to move on to the indentation section. Okay. In the indentation section, there you can change the left and right indent. Okay. In the indentation section, you can change the left and right indent. And for changing the left and right indent, there are arrows being provided. There is an increase and decrease arrow. By clicking on that arrows, you can change the left and right indents. Okay. And once you change the indent, you can click on the OK button. So this is how you can change the left and right indent. So you have seen how to change the left and right indent. That is, in the indentation section, there is the option given for left and right indent. By clicking on that increase or decrease arrows, you can change the values. Okay. And if you want to change the first line or hanging indent, or if you want to set the first line or and hanging indent, there is a special section. Okay. In that special section, if you're clicking on that arrow, you can change the first line and hanging indent. Okay. So for changing the first line or and hanging indent, there is a special section. By clicking on that arrow, you can set the first line and hanging indent. Okay. And then you have to click on the OK button. So to set indents, you have to follow these steps. Step number 1, place the cursor anywhere in the paragraph you want to indent. Step number 2, to open the paragraph dialog box, click on the dialog box launcher arrow in the paragraph group of the page layout tab. And step number 3, in the indentation section, set the left and right indents by clicking on the increase or decrease arrows. And fourth step is, under the special option in the indentation section, set the first line indent or hanging indent. And step number 5, click on the OK button. So hope that all of you are clear with today's class. So with this I am ending my section today. Thank you.